So Barrow are your biggest winners over in League Two as they keep on fighting at the foot of the table. But what about the chasing pack? How did they get on? We'll take a little look next. That's right, folks. Babbles giving another prediction show today. We're taking a look at match day number 30-something out in the old League Two, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe button. You're today with all things League Two related, Blackburn Rovers related, World Football Review here. Under Walrooski, that's right, boys and girls. Yeah, not many wins. It was draws galore this past midweek, as a lot of teams failed to take advantage of their games in hand. We'll take a look at all of that in just a second. Of course, a big shout out to the VIP Patreon gang. Thank you very much for your continued support. If anyone else wants to join those illustrious band of men and women, check out the link down below, patreon.com/Roverseas. But anyway, yeah, we've got a few games to cover right here, right now, and then of course we've got a bumper episode for picks, so a good chance for you guys to make up lost ground. Then, so let's get into it. Of course, we've got a lot to talk about. Here we go. The games were, of course, midweek. Kicking it off, which Crawley up against Walsall was 1-1 draw in the end. Tom Nicholas on the score sheet, of course, Crawley. Emmanuel Ursarabi on the score sheet, of course, Walsall. As points were split right down the middle. Actually, with a 2-1 win for Crawley, and I got it wrong. Meanwhile, Cheltenham were the shock losers as they lost to Barrow at home as well. James Jones and Sean Long with a big for OG, giving Barrow the W to give themselves a bit of hope down the foot of the table. 2-0 for them. For Barrow, I went with 2-0 going the other way, and I was wrong. Of course, Mansfield against Carlisle was a 1-1 draw in the end. Fandre Sanzalo on the score sheet, of course, Carlisle. Stephen McLaughlin get the goal for Mansfield. 1-1 draw there. 2-1 for me for going for Carlisle. Shame on me. Of course, Salford also drew with Colchester 0-0. Nothing to report here. 2-0 for me. But Salford got that one wrong as well. Port Vale did get a win as well. 2-1 winners over Newport County. Tom Conlon and Devante Rodney on the score sheet, of course, Port Vale, who were my tip to be the surprise package this, or at least to be playoff contenders. Jake Scrimshaw getting the goal for Newport County as they fluffed their lines. Actually, on the 2-0 win going the other way. Grimsby got themselves a draw, did they? 0-0 draw, of course, Wednesday. Not doing anyone any good. Of course, Grimsby need the points. Of course, Tranmere also need the points to keep themselves in promotion contention. Of course, Scunthorpe also drew with Oldham 1-1. Are they managers to Oldham, or did they get a manager? I think they got a manager. Alfie McCormick on the score sheet, of course. Jordan Hamlin getting a goal for Scunthorpe as a point split right down the middle. Actually, with a 1-1 draw. Got that one right. Got that one bloody right. That was the only one I got right. And got that one bang on the bloody nose. As you see, if a weekend to forget. The table looks like this, I hope. Yes, it does. Cheltenham, of course, lead the charge. That's right. Just 1 point clear of Cambridge, who are level of points with Forest Green, who are, 3 points clear now of Tranmere. Of course, with an airtight playoffs with Tranmere, Newport, Bolton, and Morecambe. It could be anyone's guess as to who was going to make those playoffs as well. At the foot of the table, of course, Grimsby go down, Southend possibly as well. If the bottom two go down, that's the situation down there. Of course, Barrow give themselves some big old breathing space, and they've got games in hand as well. Let's take a look at, of course, your picks. Here we go. This is the criteria. Yep. You know what the deal is. There's a Patreon in thin air. Tom Stainer, you did shite. I think you pretty much all did shite this week. James PCC, you did shite. Photo 77 did shite. Cody Go also did poop. Yannick also did poop. Leyton, they also did shite. Alex Weller did crap. Okay, did crap. Rooney. Alan MC, you know me, you did crap as well. Russell Frost also did crap. Olaji Ojo did crap. Rooney, and of course Ollie Hamblick did crap. Joachim Jackson did crap. Did I give him a round of applause? Yeah, crap on Joachim Jackson. Jamie Chai did crap. Jamie Gold did crap. Ivan Trigger did crap. Shepard also did crap. Ultra Omer did crap. Omar Esquivel also did crap. Indeed, everybody did crap. Everybody did crap. Look at the zeros. Oh my goodness! If you name, you won't even go there. With the winners getting 2 out of whatever, how many games that was. How many games was it? It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my miserableness. You're wearing the crown. There's 2 guys wearing the crown. In fact, this one's a bit of a mess. So yeah, don't look too much into this. It's probably right. But there might be an error or two. But realistically, I don't see we're talking margins, like 1 point here, there, and everywhere. Miserable one. But of course, the leaderboard looks like this overall. Russell Frost with a 4 percentage points clearance over Omar Esquivel, who sits in second. Of course, Joachim Jackson still in the hunt as well in third. Of course, that was last week. This is this week. As you can see, bumper big fixture. I'm not going to come back for the midweek. We're going to include all of them right here, right now. I'm going to try and ease up my workload this next few days. So let's get into it then, shall we? Of course, kicking it all off with this Saturday. Stevenage up against Carlisle. Played each other the last 6. 3 wins for Stevenage, 2 for Carlisle, 1 draw. Of course, last time around in Stevenage was a 3-2 win for Carlisle back in, of course, September 2019. They also played each other this season. It was a 4-0 win for Carlisle back in, of course, December. Also heading into this, Stevenage unbeaten the last 6, picked up 4 draws and 2 wins to boot. Meanwhile, Carlisle unbeaten the last 3, picked up 2 draws and a win to boot. A look at the bookies odds on this one then. We're trying to come down with the slim down stats here. 13-5 for Stevenage, 12-5 is your draw, 20-20 is your Carlisle. Stevenage currently find themselves all the way down. In fact, all the way into mid-table, of course, 15th at the moment. But a win for them, they can move up to 14th. Carlisle are 11th right now, but a win for them, they can move up to 9th. Going to go with Carlisle on the away form against the run of play here. Stevenage, of course, in the form. Carlisle trying to get themselves back into it. Next up, of course, Newport County, taking on, of course, Leyton Orient over in Wales. Of course, played to the last 6, 2 for Newport County, 3 for Leyton Orient, 1 draw last round in Newport County. Was back in, of course, December 2020. I'm trying to look at this. This looks a bit funny. Why would they have played in League Two this season? This season in Wales. I was in Leyton Orient. Oh, I'm looking at it wrong. I'm turning my glasses upside down. Oh, there it is. I can see it now. That's what I'm talking about. Last round was in Brisbane Road. It was a 2-1 win for Leyton Orient. Of course, last round in Wales was a 1-1 draw back in, of course, December 2019. It was a 1-1 draw as well. Heading into this, of course, Newport County just 1 defeat the past 4 games. That 1 defeat was against Port Vale. Meanwhile, just 1 win the past 6 games for Leyton Orient. That was against Grimsby. Quite a few games back. Look at the bookies odds on this one then, shall we? We have Newport County even Stevens for the victory, 23-10 is your draw. 14-5 is your Leyton Orient. Of course, Leyton Orient going to find themselves in 14th, but a win for them, they can move up to 13th, whereas Newport County are 5th. Over them, they can move up to 4th in the table. For me, Newport County takes it 2-0 down in Wales. Next up, we've got Barrow, taking, of course, Crawley Town. I've got to find it. There it is. Played to the last 6, 2 wins apiece and 2 bloody draws last time around in Barrow. That was, of course, a 1-1 draw back in, of course, the English League, National League, Premier Division, or whatever it is. The non-league, of course, 1-1 draw back in, of course, October 2010. That's a good 11 years ago. Meanwhile, they also played this season in Crawley. It was a 4-2 win for Crawley back in December. Of course, Crawley unbeaten the last 4 games. In fact, just 1 defeat the past 6. Their 1 defeat was against Morecambe. Meanwhile, Barrow winning 3 on the bloody bounce. That's 9 points out of a bloody 9. So they've got the bit between the teeth. Of course, look at the bookies odds on this one then. 29-24 Barrow, 50-8 for Crawley, 9-4 is the draw. Crawley are in 10th, and a win for them, they can move actually up to 8th, whereas Barrow down to 22nd. Better win for them, they can move up to 20th in the end. I think Barrow will nick this one, make it 4 wins on the spinner, and have put Crawley in a bit of trouble. 1-0 win in the end. Next up, we have Bolton Wanderers, taking, of course, Walsall. Let's get into this one then, shall we? Of course, played to the last 6, 4 for Bolton, 2 for Walsall, no draws last round. And Bolton was a 5-2 win for Bolton in the FA Cup, of course, back in January 2019. Of course, they also played to the last round in the league when Bolton were at home at the Reebok, or whatever they call it. 4-1 win for Bolton back in, of course, February 2017, but they also played each other this season. It was a 2-1 win for Walsall earlier in the campaign. Of course, Bolton unbeaten the last 6, picking up 5 wins in the past 6. Only hiccup was a draw against Bradford. Meanwhile, without a win in 6 has Walsall scrambling. 4 defeats in the past 6 games. A couple of draws in that mix. 4-3 on is your Bolton, 7-2 is your draw, 5-2 is your long shots. Sorry, 5-2 is your draw, 7-2 is your long shots. Walsall all the way down to 19th, but a win for them, they can move up to bloody 60th. Bolton in 6th, a win for them, they can move up to 4th in the table. You never know. Automatics might be on the agenda. 2-0 win for Bolton. Move the bloody chains, of course. Bradford taking, of course, Oldham. Let's get into this one set, shall we? Of course, played to the last 6. 1 for Bradford, 5 for Oldham, no draws. Last round at Vale Parade was, of course, in the FA Cup back in November 2020 this season. They also played in the Papa John's Trophy in Bradford this season, and both of those wins went in favour of Oldham. Last time played in the league, though, at Vale Parade was, of course, back in August 2019. It was a 3-0 win for Bradford. But this will be the 4th time they played each other this season, and the previous 3, 1 in the league at Boundary Park, and the 2 cup ones, all in favour of Oldham. So Oldham have liked playing Bradford recently. Of course, heading into this, Oldham without a win in 5. Meanwhile, without a win in 3, that's Bradford. Back-to-back defeats as well. They've got themselves scrambling at the moment. Look at the bookies odds. Even Stevens for Bradford, 5-2 is draw, 13-5 is your Oldham. Oldham currently find themselves in, of course, 17th. But a win for them, they can move up to 14th. Sitting in 30th, though, is Bradford. And a win for them, they can move into the top half of the table. That's 11th. 2-1 for Bradford at Valley Parade. Break the hoodoo, 3 points. Cambridge United taking, of course, Forest Green Rovers. This was fruity. It's second up against 3rd. Let's take a look at this one. Then shall, of course, play to the last 6. 1 for Cambridge, 5 for Forest Green, no draws last round in. Cambridge was a 1-0 win for Forest Green back in, of course, September 2019. They also played this season in Forest Green. It was a 2-0 win for Forest Green. Of course, then Vegans actually won 5 on the spin against Cambridge. Last time Cambridge were victorious was in Cambridge back in September 2017. Heading into this, though, Forest Green Rovers just 1 defeat the past 5 games. The 1 defeat was against Stevenage at the back of start of the month. Meanwhile, 3 wins and 3 defeats in the past 6 games for Cambridge have them flopping it at the top top of the table. Look at the bookies odds on this one, then, shall we? We have Cambridge 85 for the victory, 25 is a draw. 85 is also your Vegans. Your Vegans currently find themselves in third, and for them they could go top. As for Cambridge, though, they could also go top with a W as well. A lot on the line on this one, but we're going to go with the 2-0 win for the hosts. Break the hoodoo, 2-0, 3 points in the bag. Next up we have Cheltenham taking on, of course, Salford City. Played to the in the last two. One win for Cheltenham, nothing for Salford, and one draw last round. In fact, the only two occasions these two sides have played each other was in Salford, and of course they played each other last season. It was a 2-0 win for Cheltenham in Salford, and also played each other this season was a 0-0 draw in Salford. Of course, heading into this though, Salford just one win in the past 5. That one was against Port Vale. Meanwhile, just one win in the past 3 games for Cheltenham. Have them flopping as well at the top of the table. They did have defeats against Barrow and defeats against Mansfield as they try to keep their promotion story or journey on track. Look at the bookies odds on this one. We have 13-10 for Cheltenham, 11-5 is draw, 21-10 is your Salford. Salford currently find themselves in 9th, and for them they can move up to 8th. Of course, Cheltenham are top, and they'll be top if they get the W. I think they'll win this one 3-1 against the Hoodoo, against the form, and keep on moving on. Next up, we have two strugglers, of course, Colchester United and Port Vale. Lockhorns this weekend. Played for the last 6 wins for Colchester, 3 draws and 1 win for Port Vale. Last round in Colchester was a 1-1 draw back in August 2019. Tom Pope on the score sheet for Port Vale. Of course, Luke Norris getting the goal for Colchester as the points were split right down the middle. They also played each other this season at Vale Park. It was in fact a 1-1 draw as well. Heading into this, just 1 win in the past 6 games for Port Vale. That was against Newport just the day. 1 win in the past 6 games for Colchester. That was against Carlisle at the start of the month. Look at the bookies odds on this one. What do we have on this one then, shall we? We've got Colchester coming at you. Where are you? Where are you? Is it in Colchester? It is. It's 17-10 for Colchester. 12-5 is your draw. 64 is your Port Vale. Port Vale currently find themselves in 20th, but a win for them, they can move up to 16th. Colchester down in the same points, but beneath Port Vale also could go up to as high as 16th in the table. Tough one, this one. 1-1 draw. Cannot separate the two sides. Next up, of course, Harrogate. Taking, of course, my tip or my soft spot. It is Morecambe. Played each other just the one time this season. Was a 1-0 win for Morecambe in Morecambe back in, of course, December. They also heading into this. Morecambe just one defeat the past 4 games. In fact, it's been 2 games without a win, of course, drawing with the Vegans and also losing to Newport County just the other day. Quite, in the spotlight there for Ellison's goal, the veteran striker sticking 2 fingers up to Derek Adams. And meanwhile, just 1 win in the past 3 games for Harrogate. That was against Colchester a couple of games back. Meanwhile, the bookies odds on this one. What do we have on this one then? 21-20 for Harrogate. 30-5 is your Morecambe. 23-10 is your draw. Harrogate are down to 12th. They've still got ambitions of maybe getting into the playoffs here. A win for them, though, they could go as high as 9th. As for Morecambe, they're in 7th, and a win for them, they could go as high as 4th. Wow. Unfortunately, I think Morecambe will lose this one. 2-1 win for Harrogate, but hopefully I'm disappointed. And hopefully Morecambe get the W. Next up, of course, Mansfield Town, taking, of course, Grimsby Town. Played to the last 6-3 was for Mansfield, 1 for Grimsby, 2 draws last round. In Mansfield was a 2-1 win for Mansfield. Sorry, scrap that. Last round in Mansfield was a 1-0 win for Grimsby back in, of course, January 2020. Of course, they also played each other this season in Grimsby. It was a 1-1 draw back in, of course, December this season. Heading into this, just 1 win the past 5 games for Mansfield against Cheltenham back at the start of the month. Meanwhile, three games unbeaten for Grimsby, but they've all been draws. Not really good, not really grinding out the results. Look at the bookies odds on this one then, shall we? We've got Mansfield 6-4 on for the victory, 11-4 is your draw, 17-4 is your Grimsby. Grimsby are rooted to the foot of the table, but a win for them, they could go up to 23rd. As for Mansfield, they're up to 16th at the moment, but a win for them, they could go up to 14th in the end. Grimsby will take this one 1-0 win over. Sorry, Mansfield will take this one 1-0 win over Grimsby. Next up, we have the Battle of the S's. Scunthorpe taking, of course, Southend. Let's have a look at this one then, shall we? Of course, played to the last 6. 2 for Scunthorpe, 4 for Southend. No draws. Last round in Scunthorpe was a 4-1 win for Scunthorpe back in, of course, in League One, of course, March 2019. They also played each other this season down at Roots Hall. It was back in December. It was a 1-0 win for Southend. Of course, heading into this, both teams clueless at the moment. Just 1 win in 6 games for Southend. That was against Forest Green Rovers at the end of February. Meanwhile, 1 win in the past 6 as well for Scunthorpe. That one was against Cambridge United at the start of March. Look at the bookies odds on this one then, shall we? What do we have on this one? We have ding dang, what a big mark. 11-10 on for Scunthorpe United. 23-10 is your draw. 12-5 is your Southend. Southend are, of course, 23rd, but a win for them, they could close it in on Barrow. As for Scunthorpe, they're all the way up to 18th at the moment, but a win for them, they can move up to 14th with a W. I think they'll get the win. Scunthorpe 2-1 over in the odds. Get the 3 points. Next up, of course, promotion chasing high flyers. Of course, Tranmere taking, of course, Exeter City. Played each other the last 6. 4 for Tranmere, 2 for Exeter. No draws last round in Tranmere. Was a 2-0 win for Tranmere, of course, back in November 2018. Of course, they also played each other this season in Exeter. It's a 5-0 win back in, of course, December. Heading into this, though, just 1 defeat the past 4 games. So Exeter, that was against Cheltenham just the other day. Meanwhile, just 1 win in 4 half. Tranmere scrambling, of course. That one was against Southend. Of course, a couple of defeats against Crawley. And, of course, Sunderland in the Papa John's Trophy. And a draw against Grimsby. Have them wondering what's going on as well. Bookies odds on this one then, shall we? What do we have on this one? Tranmere coming at you. 30-8 for Tranmere. 23-10 is your draw. 13-8 8 is also your Exeter City. Exeter City are in 8th. A win for them, they can move into 7th. Tranmere 4th. A win for them, they can move up to bloody 2nd in the table. Oh yes, they'll get the win comfortably, 3-0 in the end. So into the Brucey bonus patch here. There we've got 6 or 7 fixtures. Let's get into this one then, shall we? Of course, kicking all off with Oldham up against Exeter City. Of course, just played Tranmere. Can they bounce back? We'll have a look. Played the last 6, 1 for Oldham, 3 for Exeter, 2 draws last round in Oldham. Was a 0-0 draw back in, of course, August 2019. Also played this season in Exeter was a 2-1 win for Oldham, of course. So not too bad run against them. Of course, heading into this, Exeter just one defeat past 4. The one defeat was against Cheltenham. We talked about that just now. Meanwhile, Oldham just one defeat past 4 for them. And that one defeat was against Cambridge United, 6-goal thriller. But a lot of draws knocking around. A lot of draws as well. No bookies odds on this one, though. Of course, Oldham have got 6 points on the agenda. If they win both of them, they could go from 17th all the way up to 13th in the table. As for Exeter, again, 6 points on the agenda. Win both of those. And potentially, if everything else goes their way, they could go up to high as 4th in the table. I think they'll win this one, though. 2-0 win, bounce back ability to put 3 points on the agenda. And, of course, move the chains. Next, of course, Mansfield up against Forest Green. The Vegans, of course, played the last 6 2 of Mansfield, 1 for Forest Green, 3 draws last round in Mansfield. Was a 7-goal thriller going in favour of Forest Green, 4-3 in the end back in January 2020. Also played this season in the Vegan land back in, of course, November. That was a 2-1 for Mansfield. Heading into this, though, of course, Forest Green just losing the once in the past 5 games against Stevenage. Meanwhile, just 1 win in the past 5 games for Mansfield. That was against Cheltenham. Of course, 6 points on the agenda for the Vegans. They currently find themselves in 3rd. And guess what? If they win both of their games, they could go comfortably at the top of the table. As for Mansfield to win both of those 2 games as well, for them, 6 points on the agenda, they could go as high as 13th in the table. Maybe, just maybe, you might think they're still back in the hunt. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win, though, for Forest Green Rovers to make it a 1 win at the 2 games this coming week. Next up, of course, Southend, taking on, of course, Walsall. Played the last 6, 4 for Southend, 1 for Walsall, 1 draw. Last round in Southend was a 3-0 win for Southend, back at Root Hall, back to, of course, October 2018. Of course, both of these sides coming into this without a win in at least 5, looking clueless at the moment. Of course, Walsall, 6 points on the agenda for this weekend. Of course, if they win both of them, they could go up to as high as 14th. As for Southend, big opportunity for them to climb the table. Again, 6 points on the agenda, win both of those, they could go as high as 22nd and get out of that drop zone in the end. They'll get the win here, 1-0 win over Walsall at Root Hall, 3 points in the bag, though. How well Barrow do? Of course, I have them beating Crawley. They're taking on Grimsby, another relegation 6 points. Of course, played for the last 6, nothing for Barrow, 3 for Grimsby and 3 draws last round in Barrow. Was a 3-1 win for Grimsby back in the National League Premier League. Of course, back in, of course, November 2015, 3-1 win in the end. Also played this season in Grimsby, back in, of course, November this season. Of course, Barrow in good bit of form, winning 3 in the spin. Grimsby also in okay kind of form, at least unbeaten last 3, but drawing too many. For me, again, 6 points on the agenda for Barrow. If they win both of them, they could go as high as 4 or 16th at the table. As for Grimsby, again, 6 points on the agenda. They're not going to get the first one. They could get the next one. If they get victorious, they could go above Southend. But they'll get a point on this one. 0-0 in the end. Scrambling. Both of them get a point in the end. Next, of course, Carlisle. Take, of course, Leyton Orient. Let's get into this one, shall we? Of course, played the last 6, 2 was Carlisle, 1 for Leyton Orient. 3 draws in the end. Last round in Carlisle was a 2-2 draw back in, of course, 2016. That was back in September in the end. Also played this season at Brisbane Road. It was a 1-1 draw back in, of course, October. Heading into this, though, unbeaten last 3 games. That's Grimsby picked up 2 draws and a win to boot. Meanwhile, just 1 defeat in the past 4 games for Leyton Orient has them moving slowly in the right direction, but, of course, not really moving that fast. Carlisle, 6 points on the agenda. Will they win the first one? Yes, I do. As for Leyton Orient, what have I got them in the winning? What they've got to, they're losing the first one. But again, 6 points are on the agenda for both of these 2 sides. A win for Carlisle in both of them. They could go from 11th to what? They could go up to 8th in the table. As for Leyton Orient, same deal. Win for them. They could go as high as 11th in the table. I think Carlisle will make it back-to-back wins and hopefully move the chains, move a little bit closer to maybe playoffs once again. Scunthorpe United taking, of course, Bradford City this weekend or midweek, whatever. Played the last 6, 1 for Scunthorpe, 2 for Bradford, 3 draws last round in Scunthorpe was a 1-1 draw back in, of course, September 2019. Also played this season in Vale was a 2-2 draw as well. Of course, heading into this, Bradford looking pretty wobbly at the moment without a win in 3, pick up 2 defeats and a draw to boot. Meanwhile, Scunthorpe even worse, unbeaten without a win in 4, but 3 draws and it's actually just 1 win. In fact, actually 1 defeat the past 5 for them if you want to spin it a different way. So you never know. You just don't know. Also, look at the situation at the table. Of course, Scunthorpe 6 points on the agenda for them this coming week. A win for both of them. They could go as high as 13th. And sitting in 13th is Bradford. If they win both of those 2 games, they could go as high as 8th. Depending on what goes on elsewhere. Got Bradford winning this one. After winning the other one, they could move even closer. Next up, of course, Colchester United taking, of course, Tranmere. Let's have a look at it then, shall we? Of course, played the last 6-5 for Tranmere. Nothing for Colchester, 1 draw. Last round. Where were we? Where are we? Colchester, of course, last season back in March 2019 was 2-0 with Tranmere. Of course, heading into this though, just one defeat, one win. In fact, the past 4 games for Tranmere. That was against Southend. Meanwhile, without a win in 4, that's Colchester. Of course, last time they won was back in, of course, the start of the month of March. Colchester 6 points on the agenda. If they win both of them, they could go up as high as 14th. Whereas the opposition Tranmere 6 points on the agenda. They could go top and some if they get the victories. They'll get the win on this one to make it back-to-back wins. A good week for them. What's that done to the table? We'll have a little look at it. Here it comes. It'll be Cheltenham leading the charge. Cambridge will be in 2nd. Tranmere will be in 3rd after this week. Forest Green Rovers are down to 4th. Newport going 5th. Bolton and Exeter make up the playoffs. Morecambe down and out. Bradford, Carlisle still in the hunt as well. Grimsby, Southend going down as it stands. Bit of a gap opening up down the bottom here. Of course, after this weekend's Brucey bonus matches. Be sure to get your picks in nice early for this one. We'll do it all again very, very soon. Of course, yeah. And then we'll be back again for the next round of matches after the conclusion of the midweek ones. That's it, my friends. Always be sure to give the video some love and smash your thumbs up. Smash your subscribe. Check out the links down below. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, and Patreon. Make sure you check that out if you want to support the channel in another way. I could do appreciate this extra support. Until then, though, make sure you be safe out there. Mask up, 6 feet, and all that. Get your jab if you're eligible, and let's get this corona on the wraps. Until then, I'll see you all soon. Take it easy. Thumbs up. I'll see you all next time.